Okay, everyone, as you know, and as I've told everyone, we have with us today Terre Harris, who is from Jackson, Mississippi. Yay!
Yay, Jackson.
And she's an early childhood educator and also wrote a cute book called, I always want to say Doodle the Reindeer, but it's Doodle the Deer.
Right.
So, Terre, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and so forth.
Well, I attended the University of Mississippi. I went to Ole Miss and graduated from the School of Education in 1976, which was a long time ago. But I have always worked with the little people of the world, and I enjoy doing it so much. And that is really the background that caused me to decide that I could do this. I had a wonderful professor at Ole Miss, Dr. David Hill, who encouraged me to get involved in children's literature, and it just took me a lifetime to do it, but I finally done it, and I'm having the best time. So
that is awesome. That's awesome. I didn't tell you that a good friend of mine just retired a couple of years ago from the School of Education at Ole Miss. So I'll have to tell her that you're a product of their school.
I am all about the School of Education at Ole Miss. It's a great place.
Yes, it really, really is. So how did you come up with the idea for the book Doodle the Deer?
Well, the idea came from an actual experience I had 12 years ago in a local decorative center. A friend of mine has a decorative center on a real busy street in Jackson. So across the street from her establishment is a vacant lot. And I was there about 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the sun was going down behind the vacant lot. And so there was a huge reflection of the trees on the window of the front door. So the deer saw the reflection of the trees, ran across 5 lanes of traffic, burst through the front door, and landed by my foot. So, and that is the true part of the story, but being the grandmother that I am now, I just couldn't let it stop there. So I had to decide what would have happened had the deer torn the store up, which we clearly thought he was going to do, and all the paint cans popped open. What a mess that would have been. So that's the basis for the story. It was a real experience, and the story grew from there.
That is hilarious.
It is hilarious. It's hilarious.
And knowing deer, I'm really surprised it didn't tear the store up.
We were so lucky, and you would not believe the people all over the country since I've written this book who send me local news tapes of deer. You know, I've got a deer south of here going to school one day. I've got a deer in another paint store in Pennsylvania. There's a deer that's directing traffic. I mean, it's just hilarious. All these people on Facebook have sent me, you know, different footage of deer acting crazy across the country. So that's just.
Well, I'll have to tell you a quick story. A mutual friend of Becky and I, we went to school with, we were out at Fighting Bow, you know, the hunting club.
Oh, yeah.
She was leaving to go home one night, and she swears, we think she had a little too much to drink, but she swears that a deer jumped over her car and pooped on her windshield.
That happens. The animals, they're animals. They just act like animals sometimes. So I'm quite sure that happened. I don't about anybody when you can't make this stuff up, you know.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, the flying deer. Yeah, I get that's a good one. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's another book for you.
There's always another book. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I am sure.
Absolutely.
Now, I was curious because I kind of looked and I didn't really find an answer to this. Do you have complimentary products with the book, you know, like T-shirts or little reindeers or anything like that?
No, I really don't. This was strictly this was something that just happened this summer, and I really didn't think past the book except to the next adventure of Doodle. And if he keeps going like he's going, we're going to play like Doodle's going to have another adventure pretty soon. So,
good.
Really, I haven't gotten to that point yet.
That's excellent. Also, you know, with your background in, you know, early childhood as an early childhood educator, and you're also on the board of the Mississippi Early Childhood Association. how do you think that influences the book and maybe sets it apart from some of the other children's books?
Well, I really think that the story itself gave me an opportunity to introduce some very basic early childhood skills. There's a whole, we try to introduce all of the colors, the basic colors to the children. And I've noticed in reading the book to children, after I've read it to them 2 or 3 times, because the book is written in rhyme, the children pick up on it, and I can tell that they are picking up on learning the color. The illustrations are beautiful, so the children are to see a vivid animation of that color with that color word. So those were some of the concepts I tried to introduce in this book, were the color words as well as some directional words that they could practice. But every time I write a book, I would love to include some really basic early childhood skills that children need to master as they are emergent readers, and so that they will feel confident in reading later on.
That was what I felt like you probably had done, and that's why I wanted to ask that question. And that's something important for parents to know, and
right.
And, as an early childhood educator, what would you say would be your top 3 tips to parents when they're, trying to encourage their children to read?
Well, I really am a believer in letting the children let you know what they like for you to read to them. I mean, I think that's the very basic number 1 priority of all children, is that children need to be read to daily, nightly, as many times as you can. And young children in particular don't care if you do read the same book over and over. The repetition of the book is not a problem for children. I also encourage parents, once you're reading a book in rhyme, like Doodle the Deer, to leave off the second word of the rhyming sequence, to let the children realize that they can acknowledge and recognize a rhyming word. That's very, very important. And then, of course, vocabulary. I try to, I love idioms, and that's the basis that I use to write books. One of my 5-year-old twin grandchildren just laughs out loud at the way words sound. And in fact, he helped me pick the name of the deer, because Doodle is a funny name to him. And so he laughed when we talked about it. And so that brought me, of course, great joy. And so now we have Doodle the Deer, and it's just from experience that all of that came about. So those are some things I would encourage young parents to look for.
Those are very good tips. And I don't know if I told you or not, but I'm a former educator myself. And I
knew I liked you, Anna. I believe that. I can see that.
I taught high school economics, and I was amazed at, students that I got that really did not like to read. And I thought about the fact that how I love to read. And I know it was because at a very young age, I was encouraged to,
Yes, absolutely.
So that's so important. And I tell you, reading is very important in your life.
Absolutely.
So now, how are you marketing your book?
Well, right now, I've got a car and it's got a trunk, and I'm just pretty much going around town right now. No, but I've been very blessed in the Jackson area to have several book signings, and that has just been a great, great experience, where I've come in contact with people that were some of the people I haven't seen in 40 years. I've also got some wonderful friends in the country that have invited me to their hometowns and their cities to read to different groups in their area. I just got back from Atlanta, Georgia, where my old roommate from college encouraged me to come, and she had a wonderful book signing in her home on Sunday afternoon. And then I came back through Birmingham yesterday, where my daughter-in-law and my son and daughter-in-law live, and I was able to visit with some children in a local children's shop there. So people have just gone overboard, encouraging me to come and share the book with their community. After Christmas, I've got several signings that I'm real excited about, going to different schools in the Jackson area to read the book to the children. There's a big push in the Jackson area, as I am sure many communities, to encourage local authors to be part of the community and work with the children. So that's a great, great opportunity, and I really look forward to that.
That is wonderful. a friend of mine that's a former English teacher, she volunteers to go to some of the elementary schools and read to the children.
It's so important, and it's very encouraging to them. And really, the older children, as a preschool director and educator, I've always, concentrated on children 3 to 6 years of age. But really and truthfully, some of the best feedback I've gotten is from lower and a little bit of upper elementary children. Some children are doing their book reports on the book. So I just think that's fascinating, and that they're not intimidated to use it. But the illustrations, Jennifer Ellis is my illustrator, and she did a beautiful job of depicting the story. So I think that's a huge part of the book, is the beautiful watercolor illustrations as well.
I know a little secret about you. I can't remember if it was Carol or if it was Becky that told me.
Whoa, girl. Hey now.
I'm not going to
reveal. It's going. I've known Carol for a long time. Okay, let's go with this.
Maybe it was Carol then.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But they tell me you're also actually a very good artist. And I wondered, why didn't you illustrate the book?
Okay, thank you, Mother. Well, that would be, I do have a sweet story to tell you about that, but no, that would be Miss Becky talking, I do believe. That's my artist friend. But at any rate, I really and truthfully, I did this so quickly. I just was intent on trying to get it done before school started. That was just important to me to do that. Mm-hmm. And so Jennifer was just we're just a perfect match, the way this all worked out. So maybe one day I'll illustrate one, but for now, she depicted Doodle exactly the way he needed to be. And so I'm just delighted that she was able to work with me.
Well, he's absolutely adorable. Absolutely adorable. And I understand totally what you're talking about. Because you get busy and it's hard to do everything. So I really get that. But when she told me that and I'm like, well, why didn't she illustrate the book?
There you go. Yeah, well, that seems to be the $64,000 question. But maybe one day, Anna, when I have a few more than 24 hours in a day, I'm going to try to do that for you.
I keep
you'll be the first to know, Anna.
Okay. Well, I keep looking for those 25-hour days, and I hadn't found one yet.
So. I keep looking, but I hadn't found them yet. That's hilarious.
Now, do you use any social media with your marketing?
Yes, I do. And as you can tell by me being able to type the numbers in to be able to do what you and I are doing right now, I'm very limited in my experience with social media. But my younger son, who is 30 years old, is like all about it. So he's like, Mom, we're going to do this, and this is how we're going to do it. So it's fascinating to me how much I've learned about social media just from this experience. But, it's just an amazing tool, but I am using it more and more. And we're working on the web page a little bit during the holidays and those types of things. So we do have a web page. We do, the PayPal deal and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm working on all of that. And of course, through opportunities like this, what a wonderful, wonderful thing. I really appreciate it.
Great. Well, I'll put your website underneath this interview on my Facebook page.
That would be great.
Then that way, if somebody's interested in ordering one of the books, they could do that.
That would be wonderful. Yes.
But, I think about, educators, parents, et cetera, that are on social media. And I know that it's a great marketing tool and you could use that. Do you have a Pinterest account? Now, I got to ask that.
I don't know if I don't know how to get, I look at Pinterest all the time. Is that what you're asking me, Anna? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I have one or not, but by jingles, I'm going to have one today. I can tell you that if I don't. But I downloaded Pinterest, but I love Pinterest. And yes, I'm addicted to Pinterest. Go on and make me say it. Yes, I am. I'm an educator. How did we teach children without Pinterest? I don't remember life before Pinterest.
That's my whole point. You need to have a Pinterest account because there's so many educators on there.
Oh my stars, yes.
Yeah. So that's why I had to bring that up to you, because I'm thinking all the teachers out there, they would love to get, hear about this book because it's absolutely wonderful. And especially knowing that it was written by an educator. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. And after we get through with this, I'm going to call you on the phone so you can tell me what to do. But I would love to do that. And like I say, I just don't know what I'm doing. One minute I was sitting here, the next minute I wrote doodle. I don't even know what happened. That's my life. That's how I live. I'm telling you.
I
never
won't call any names, but I'll say that you sound like a very dear friend of mine when I start talking about social media.
I'm an old woman, Anna. I'm not kidding. I'm doing the best I can do, but I'm going to be better. I'm going to do better, I promise. My friends all help me. That's what I've got the kids for. They're going to be through this.
You're absolutely correct. Because the younger generation, they just do it like, it's crazy.
Oh, I know. And if I do have a question, that's what my kids say. Mom, go get one of your young teachers. I mean, that's what I do. My assistant director is wonderful. She's so patient with me. I just have no idea what I'm doing, but I do enjoy learning if you've got patience to teach me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, what I tell people all the time. I'll go, and I think the reason that I got into it so much was because teaching high school students, I was around them and I was always involved with technology. So, it was just kind of a natural thing for me to understand it and, learn about it and so forth.
Well, I admire you. It is so interesting, and it's just amazing the people that I've reconnected with through social media. So I've really enjoyed that part.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is great. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add before we close out today?
I do want to share one quick little sweet story about this, because I'm thinking, well, if Becky and Carol I haven't had a chance to share this with them, but I did want to. I wouldn't be fair if I didn't say this. When I was at Ole Miss, Dr. Hill, who I mentioned to my mother, who was 92 when we lost her in September, that I needed to, Terry needs to do this, and so every time I saw my mother for the last 40 years. Since I was at Ole Miss, you have got to write that children's book. Why are you not doing it? You're doing everything else. Why aren't you? And I would be like, Mother, it takes time, blah, 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 blah. But at any rate, do you know that by August the 6th, we had the first proof back from the printer, and I went to visit with her. Actually, I was going to the James Taylor concert, but I did go by to see my mother in Memphis that afternoon. And I was able to read the proof to her, and that was August the 6th, and we lost Mother September 16th. And I promise you, she checked it off her list when I read it to her August the 6th. She was intent for me to do this. So I had already dedicated the book to her before we lost her. So this is a really, really special endeavor for me, because I still don't know why I did it, but I'm so thankful that I did.
Well, your little angels motivated you and got you going with it.
Got me going. That's exactly what happened. Absolutely.
That is a wonderful, wonderful story, I tell you. And I can tell you have a lot of enthusiasm about it and about everything that you do. But that's what makes good educators.
That's right.
So, well,
we're going to go with that. I like the way that sounds. That's right.
Yes, it really is so true. Because if you don't have the enthusiasm, you're not going to do a very good job, because the students aren't going to, they're not going to engage with you.
Right.
So, okay. Well, I guess we'll close out, and thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this. It has been fun, and also been fun getting to know you. And the next time I head towards Mississippi, I'll have to let you know. Maybe we can have lunch or something.
I will take you to lunch. Please come see me, Anna, and just give me a buzz and let me know when you're coming. I'd love to see you in person. Thank you so much. And Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you. And this is Pinterest Pro, traveling on down the Pinterest Superhighway. And all of you have a great, great rest of the week.